What's up, fellow craft nerds? Today we are going to do a quick tutorial, DIY, craft, whatever you want to call it, that I was really excited to do. So it is going to be a Halloween craft DIY just because that is where I'm stuck at right now. That is my favorite time of the year. So don't hate on me, but I'm not jumping in the Christmas bandwagon just yet. So what I'm using here is just one of those fall buckets that came out a few months back. I've grabbed so many of these different fall items that I really honestly didn't know what I was going to use them all for. So this case, I just went ahead and painted this over with Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. And it really just took one coat to cover up all of the design. And that's all you see me doing here, just covering the handle, covering the whole outside of this tin bucket, whatever it's called. So I'm taking a piece of floral foam and I'm just shoving it in the bottom of this. You can definitely add some rocks or pebbles or whatever if you want to add some more weight to this, but in all honesty, it wasn't necessary for this particular project, at least on my opinion. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 2 of these white Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree. Now, as you guys know, these trees by themselves are skinny, they're sparse, they're very sad little trees alone. So all I wanted to do here was just give it some extra fullness. So by taking 2 of the trees, opening them both up, I'm actually literally just squishing them together and fluffing them out together. And it immediately gave this tree so much more fullness. That is exactly what I wanted out of this. So after I get it all kind of floofed up and, you know, made sure it looked decent together, I'm not using the bottoms of the tree. I'm literally unscrewing the little white cap off the bottom. So the metal poles are sticking out, and just literally shoving this down into the floral foam. And it stands up perfectly. So the fun part about this is now the decorating. So I'm taking some of this black mesh, and this is from that huge roll when they were bringing tons of those big rolls of mesh out at the Dollar Tree, and I was fortunate enough to grab a lot of the black. So I am just cutting this down into strips. And you guys, if you guys know how to do just a simple mesh wreath, I'm using the same process here. I am cutting strips. I don't care if they're even. I don't care if they're jagged. Because this is a Halloween tree, it does not need to be perfect whatsoever. But I'm taking the strips and I think I'm rolling about 3 different pieces together, taking some of that pipe cleaner and then just twisting it to secure the pieces at the end. And once you have all of your mesh bundles together that you want to put into the tree, you just go ahead and you stick them into the tree. And I'm taking the pipe cleaner ends and I'm just twisting it around the other side of the tree just to secure it. Honestly, I think if you just kind of shoved them in there, they probably would stay, but I just wanted to be 100% sure because the mesh is actually giving the tree even more fullness. It's kind of filling in all of those maybe some dead spots that you still have, because you guys, let's face it, we know that these trees are kind of very sad, so they're very sparse even with 2 trees put together. But that's just kind of a quick viewing of what it looks like. I also did purple as well, and so I did a combination of black and the purple mesh when filling in the tree with these little bundles. So what you see me doing here is I'm taking some of this green tulle that I had. I think at one point I was wanting this for a different type of wreath and I could not find that color in mesh. So I did get some of this green tulle, and all I did, you guys, is just pulled off a few strips, crumpled it up, and then just kind of shoved it in the little holes again. This didn't need any glue. This didn't need any, you know, pipe cleaners or anything like that. It literally was just wadding it up and just kind of stuffing it in there, and it looked great. So it's kind of hard to see here. I didn't have the angle quite right, but I was taking some of the ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I only had just a little bit left of this particular ribbon, so I was just kind of weeding it through the tree just as a little bit of a decoration. You can definitely do this with more ribbon if you have more. I just literally, this was all I had left of this spider web ribbon, which made me sad. That was probably one of my favorite ones. And I just kind of you know, as you see here, just kind of weaving it around and shoving it in there. And then what I'm also going to do here is, you can kind of see I have like a little pile of these black flowers, and those came off of a item that I got from Spirit Halloween that I didn't want on that particular item. So I pulled those off, and I'm like, I'm going to repurpose them. And basically all I did with these two is just kind of shove them in there. You can definitely secure these down if you wanted with some hot glue. But I figure, you know, this tree, I could keep it the same way. I could probably update it next year if I'd like. So I just wasn't trying to make things too permanent with this. So here I'm taking some of the orange clip-on pumpkins that Dollar Tree was selling, and literally just clipping them into the tree. It worked perfect. That was exactly the pop of color that I wanted. You can see on the side I had some of those purple glitter pumpkins out that I was thinking of putting in there. But once I started really going with, you know, adding the different details to this tree, I realized I loved these original old school colors for Halloween. The orange was a perfect pop on this particular tree. Definitely goes with that vintage Halloween vibe that I've been going for, and I loved it. The finishing touches on this is I did make a bow for the top, and it's kind of hard to see here. I didn't, again, record it quite right, but I just did a huge bundle bow using 2 different ribbons from Dollar Tree. And these ones I used because, again, the orange was a great color, and then the other kind of had a mixture of all the colors that I was using on this tree, and I just made a big fluffed out ribbon bow that you'll see me just place on the very top of this tree. And that's about it, guys. I mean, I loved how that bow looked on the very top, and this was the final outcome of the tree. I just absolutely love this. It originally was going to be a Nightmare Before Christmas tree, and it just totally went its own direction. And I think I love this even more. It definitely goes with my decor. Very old school colors, vintage Halloween type feel. And I absolutely adore this tree. And just for a few bucks, it was definitely worth it. And hey, if you're new here, guys, I appreciate you so much for stopping by. I definitely hope you stick around, hit that subscribe button, and definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new DIY or haul. And if you're one of my original subscribers, thank you guys so much for coming back. I love y'all. Take care. Stay safe.